Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, January 30th, 2018. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Resign in 3 days or dissolve Parliament. That's the action the opposition New Democratic Party is campaigning for as they presented a no-confidence motion in Parliament on Monday against the ruling Unity Labour Party government. In an interview with SVG-TV News today, opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday said it is time that the interest of Vincentians is placed at the top of the agenda of the government because, as he puts it, the country is in a crisis.
I believe that we are at a point in our country where we are in a state of crisis, economic crisis and political crisis. As you know, we have the motion, the petitions that are still pending. And we are expecting a decision from the court anytime now with respect to our application or motion for inspection of the ballots. We have a situation in this country after 2 years after an election. We still don't know if the government was properly elected. So this is a political crisis in our country as well. It is very timely that we have this motion, and the opposition, for myself as the leader of the New Democratic Party and as the leader of the opposition, to bring this in the House so that it can be debated and the people of this country can know that their business is being taken care of. So that is why we are bringing it at this time. And we hope that the motion, we expect when you bring the motion that it will prevail. When that happens, then the Prime Minister has a limited time, I believe 3 days, in which he must resign, or if not, to dissolve Parliament and to call new general elections.
The opposition leaders said although they were heavily criticized for walking out of Parliament on Monday, it was necessary for them to take a stand by not participating in the proceedings. He said their action was to show their disdain for the position taken by the finance minister, who refuses to clear his name of certain allegations.
I listened to the radio broadcast and they've said, oh, you know, there's some things that have happened, that the NDP, that some people are saying, oh, he should be in Parliament and so on. Well, we understand that, and we weighed the importance of making this statement with respect to the Minister of Finance, that he must come and make a statement to the nation and to stand our ground there at that point in time. And I believe that most of the people in the country agree that for our democracy, it is important that we draw a line and say, listen, there's certain conduct that we will not tolerate as a modern democracy, and that at some point it is necessary to make the stand that we took yesterday, even though you had important business like the estimates to deal with, and we understand that. But in this matter, the public opinion and certainly the correctness of the decision was, as we did yesterday, to take a stand and to support that the minister has an obligation to speak to the nation.
Dr. Friday called on persons to come out to their meeting tomorrow evening at Heritage Square from 7 p.m. He said persons can first attend Parliament to hear debate on the motion of no confidence and then gathered at the open-air meeting at South River Road.
So for people who want to stand up for decency and for good governance in our country, come out tomorrow. Be at the courthouse, be at Heritage Square. If you can't make it, for those people who are in the Grenadines and so on who may not be able to come, light a candle as the rest of us will do tomorrow evening. For those people who are out in the country, if you're out on the leeward side, on the windward side in Mariquois, and you can't make it to the meeting, show your solidarity, light a candle, put it out on your porch. This is something that I believe is of critical importance, that the country, that we mobilize. Somebody told me this morning, you know, it's said it look like the people in the country, you know, that they're finding their voice. And I suppose I said we didn't leave the mountain in Mama, so we must find our voice. We must stand up and defend our democracy. That is what I was doing in the court yesterday.
The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has projected economic growth of 2.1% for SVG this year. And according to Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez, though the predicted figure may be somewhat conservative, it is anticipated that the government will have more money in its coffers this year. Gonzalez, who was at the time presenting the 2018 estimates of revenue and expenditure in Parliament on Monday, outlined outlined the government's plans in terms of revenue collection.
Revenue for 2018 of $621.7 million is 5.2% or $30 million higher than 2017. Inflows from tax sources are projected to generate $532 million for the consolidated fund in 2018, while non-tax revenue is expected to yield $89.7 million. The improvement in the revenue performance in 2018 is reflective of the modest real economic growth projected for the year and the planned improvements in the administration at the main revenue collecting agencies.
With tax revenue projected to grow by 5.2% this year, Minister Gonzalez outlined the expected contributions of the major tax types.
Taxes on income and profits is estimated to increase by $10.8 million or 7.4%. Taxes on property is projected to rise by 16.4% or $7.1 million. Taxes on goods and services are expected to go up by $4.8 million or 2.9%. And taxes on international trade and transactions by 1.5% or $2.2 million. Non-tax revenue collection is budgeted at $89.6 million for 2018. This figure is 5.2% more than the sum budgeted in 2017.
Given a quick review of the revenue estimates, the finance minister said 88% of the total revenue will be generated from 4 sources.
These are, first, taxes on goods and services, where we expect to get $170.1 million. Taxes on international trade and transactions, $151.9 million. Taxes on income and profits, $155.8 million, and sales of goods and services amounting to $67 million. The full details of the current revenue estimates are found on pages 1 through 12 of the 2018 estimates.
A total expenditure of $138,058,113 have been allocated to the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information. And according to the minister in charge, Sinclair Jimmy Prince, the amount is sufficient for his ministry to carry out and implement a number of projects and initiatives. Minister Prince, who gave an overview of the allocated funds in Parliament on Monday, commended the newly appointed Minister of Finance, Camilla Gonzalez, for assigning the second largest slice of the recurrent expenditure to his ministry, some 14.8% of the total estimates for 2018.
Total allocation to the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information for recurrent expenditure is $126,994,113. This amount, $124,724,916, is allocated to education and national reconciliation, with a sum of $2.2 million or thereabout allocated to information. We've also received a sum of $11,064,000 to finance our capital projects for 2018. Thus, our total expenditure received is $138,058,113. The figure for education as a functional classification is $147,108,128, which is 14.8% of the total estimates.
Minister Prince further provided an insight as to how the funds will be allocated.
Now, we have appointed 103 teachers to the post of Teacher 5 with effect from January the 1st, 2018. All teachers who had received their degrees up to 2012 were appointed. The recurrent allocation for policy, planning and administrative services is $8.05 million. The sum of $3.4 million has been allocated to fund the program for technical and vocational education training. Of special education services, which caters for the schools for special needs and the student support services, has been allocated $1.9 million, just under $2 million. Attention to adult and continuing education department. A sum of $2.45 million has been allocated so that this department can continue to fulfill its mandate of serving the vulnerable adults in the various communities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The unit should be relocated to a more comfortable office by February 2018. Abandoned our goal of having at least one graduate per household by the year 2025. So we have an allocation of $19.6 million to post-secondary and tertiary education, and this helps to keep the vision alive.
The Education Minister said that his ministry's capital expenditure will be financed by a series of local revenue loans and grants in the amount of $11,064,000.
This represents a significant increase in our capital expenditure programs for 2018, moving up from $4.9 million in 2017. The majority of the capital resources will be spent on technical and vocational education, training development, $6.2 million. Allocated a sum of $200,000 to begin the process of restructuring the API and the National Broadcasting Corporation. And as I said before, this restructuring will help to modernize the operations of our public information services. A sum of $437,000 has also been provided to the NBC API Improvement Project, and another $200,000 for the purchasing of new equipment. $1 million earmarked for the purchasing of secondary school textbooks, while $500,000 will be available to buy furniture and equipment for all schools. There's a big one of $6.2 million for our technical and vocational education and training development project. And this project includes the rehabilitation and retrofitting of the 4 technical institutes.
On the issue of health, Minister of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Luke Brown, told Parliament on Monday that SVG is entering a new age of healthcare. Contributing to the 2018 budget estimates presentation, Brown highlighted the benefits of the soon-to-be-completed modern medical complex in Georgetown. Noting criticisms over the construction period of the facility, Minister Brown said the facility is on the verge of being opened and considered this good news for healthcare in SVG.
Let it be known in this honorable house that we are finally on the verge, within a matter of a couple weeks, of opening that facility. And the opening of that facility is good news for Vincentians. In fact, perhaps around Wednesday, we might be in a position to do, in the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister, an inspection of the facility, and therefore come up with a time frame for its completion and operationalization. And we might even on that occasion, if everything goes according to plan, be able to do a test case for dialysis out at the modern medical complex. As entering a new age of healthcare in this country, there are exciting times for health ahead, and this is but a symbol of all the things that we are going to be able to do when we focus on representing the people faithfully and well.
Minister Brown added that the medical facility has the potential to both improve the level of health care for Vincentians as well as potential economic earnings.
Because what we're going to have out there, essentially on the completion of this project, is a beautiful, integrated healthcare facility with great potential. Great potential for matters concerning health itself, and even great economic potential. Because when you have what we might dub the Georgetown Health Complex, if we are to integrate what we now commonly refer to as the modern medical complex, and what we also know as the smart hospital in Georgetown, if you put those two entities together, we could see in the future, Mr. Speaker, and we'd have the opportunity to elaborate on some of these things, that the situation could arise where we have a medical school locating a campus in the vicinity of Georgetown, being able to strengthen what we do with health in that area, and additionally cause some economic spark in that vicinity.
The health minister also noted that Cuba will be providing assistance in delivering health care at the modern medical complex.
Even before we get on to those other capital projects, I should say that there's going to be an impact from the standpoint of operationalizing this modern medical complex on the recurrent side of things. We have some posts to be filled, well, to be released and to be filled, including posts which have to do with the posts to be released and filled, including posts at the modern medical complex. Various descriptions. Some of these posts were already provided for in the 2017 estimates, and therefore we didn't need to introduce them again. But some posts were added. And to complement that, we are going to have help from the Cubans, who would provide, I think, about 23 of their professionals under cooperation agreements to assist us with the delivery of services out there. So in saying that, you get the sense that these estimates do not really tell even the entire story about what is going to happen in healthcare going forward.
As it relates to agriculture, Minister of Agriculture Supporter Caesar said the ministry considers the use of research a critical tool to increase the pace of development in the sector. Minister Caesar said that there are several initiatives which the ministry is seeking to implement, which include medical marijuana, which he said will require the benefits of research.
Mr. Speaker, the allocation of over $3.5 million for research and development, as outlined in program number 453, is significant. Research and development is critical for the ministry as we pursue a path to increase the pace of our development. This will address the production of clean plant material, livestock production, and the production of biofertilizer. Mr. Speaker, a very important and critical discussion is developing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as it pertains to the establishment of a modern medicinal cannabis industry, and sums would have to be sought to support the research and development needed for us to place this industry on a firm footing should the legislation be passed in due course.
Caesar added that work is underway to improve the arrowroot industry as well as continued work in the banana industry.
Mr. Speaker, there is an allocation of $200,000 under the project for the arrowroot industry revitalization, and work is going to begin in 2018, and I'm aware that a bigger project is coming for the rehabilitative work needed at the arrowroot factory. Mr. Speaker, the banana accompanying measures continues into 2018. The overall project cost is $34 million, and an allocation of $12.8 million is in the estimates here, and we expect to see from these monies allocations to on-farm infrastructure, the completion of the greenhouse park, the Lanley Park palletization center, and the construction of a food science lab.
The Agriculture Minister also highlighted a project aimed at boosting the capacity of farmers and fisherfolk and agri-processing access to markets through technical support.
Mr. Speaker, on page 642, project number 451801, the OECS Regional Agricultural Competitiveness Project, there's an allocation there of $1 million to initiate the project's implementation, which aims to enhance access to markets through technical support for farmers, fishers, allied aggregators, and agro-processors. And this is indeed a project that will bring significant returns and opportunities and possibilities for farmers and fishers, particularly those who are aggregators and already in cooperatives during the period 2018, 2019, and 2020.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said he was pleased with the estimate presentation by the new Minister of Finance, Camilo Gonsalves. PM Gonsalves said, in his opinion, the Minister of Finance, along with the other ministers, delivered their presentations well, adding that they must have hearts of steel rather than wood.
People say you're under pressure. But you know what I say? I told the Minister of Finance this. I told the Minister of Agriculture this. I told the Minister of Health this. The closer any of them over time gets to where I am, that is to say in the seat which I sit, the closer any of them gets here, Mr. Speaker, they will have baptisms of fire, many. And in this fire, you have to walk through. We will find out if you are made of steel. If you are made of steel, you come out hardened and strengthened, because that is what fire does to steel. But if you made of wood, you will get burned to cinders. We saw him this morning, and I would say, I am pleased.
A call has been made here for policymakers as well as healthcare professionals to make the fight against HIV a personal one. This call came from Mildred Fakoya as she spoke at the launch of the case-based surveillance system for HIV and tuberculosis at the Beach Chromas Hotel conference room on Monday, attended by several stakeholders from across the healthcare sector here.
Some healthcare workers will tell you they don't want to be part of it. Oh, I hate the computer. But at the end of the day, who is being affected? Who are they doing a favor? I want us to see it as this. When HIV is eliminated, nobody is on a favor. You are doing yourself a favor. Because you have a sexual partner, because your sexual partner might have a sexual partner, because you have children who are teenagers who will be running around. If you're a healthcare worker and you decide that a result returned from the lab to the ward, you put it in the file, you never decide to call IDC, the person is discharged, the person goes home. That man might be sleeping with your daughter. He goes back home. So at the end of the day, make HIV elimination a personal fight. Do everything legally and lawfully right. If you're a decision maker, make decisions. Carry the people who actually know about the program, know about the patients. Communicate with the patients to make decisions that will actually help the program rather than kill the program.
Given the keynote address was OECS HIV-TB coordinator Dr. Cleophas Diavone, who said the surveillance system brings with it tremendous benefits to the participating countries, which includes the ability to collect mass data efficiently, allowing for the necessary policy decisions to be made. The OECS HIV-TB coordinator said system also allows for a greater collaboration and cooperation with private and public sector entities, which goes well for patient care and treatment.
This will further improve the efficiency of our health information, improve coordination, and increase reporting capacity from different sites, thereby improving delivery of service. We'll also be able to leap from a paper-based to an electronic, web-based information system within a relatively short period of time. This new system will also allow countries to strengthen the health information system at hospitals by linking clinical, laboratory, and pharmacy information systems. The travel, time, and space to collect and integrate information on a patient will decrease exponentially, thereby maximizing clinical decision-making. This will expedite the delivery and accuracy of clinical treatment and care and improve the quality of life of patients. Interestingly, it will induce greater collaboration between the private sector, especially laboratories, public sector, and civil society. And this spirit of mutual collaboration has already started in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'd like to reinforce the point made by Mr. Knight that St. Vincent is leading the process, and we look forward to your continued leadership.
Also giving remarks was Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Cuthbert Knight, who expressed gratitude for the opportunity provided for SVG to pilot the project, which he believes will have a positive impact on the healthcare system as a whole.
We have had the opportunity to pilot this program and this process. We wish to express our heartfelt thanks to the OECS Commission for selecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines to pilot this system. And we are by no means in any way sorry that this was the case, although we understand and we wished Dominica very well, because we do understand that this should have been something that should have been rolled out there. But I'm making the point that we are indeed grateful that this is the case. And I am also positive that the experience, and I know that this is part of the entire plan or the grand scheme of things, the experience that played itself out from this pilot and implementation phase will help to inform the process going forward. So we have a lot to be thankful for.
Students enrolled at the SVG Community College with aspirations to become entrepreneurs are being given the opportunity to shape their entrepreneurial and innovative skills by being a part of the Youth Entrepreneurship and Innovation Club, an initiative by the Center for Enterprise Development, CED, and the college. At the club's official launch last Friday, January 26, students gathered were made aware of just how being an entrepreneur can be beneficial not only for them but for the nation. We hear more about Friday's launching ceremony in this report from Nikita Todi.
To foster a sense of innovation, creativity and entrepreneurship among young individuals here, a Youth Entrepreneurship and Innovation Club was launched last Friday, January 26th, through the collaborative effort of the St. Vincent Community College, SVGTV, and the Center for Enterprise Development, Inc., CED. Delivering welcoming remarks at Friday's ceremony, Director of the SVGTV, Nigel Scott, commended the ongoing partnership between the SVGTV and the CED.
Fully take advantage of this 21st century that we find ourselves in must engender a sense of entrepreneurship, must engender a sense of creativity, must engender a sense of innovation among our young people. Even though we are launching today with, I think there are about 14 students who have registered for the club, the expectation is and the anticipation is that even after today, that there will be others who will be interested enough to come along and be a part of the Youth Entrepreneurship and Innovation Club.
Given an overview of the new initiative, General Manager of the CED, Felix Lewis, said the club stands as a structured program which exposes participants to a wide range of skills and activities.
We are embarking on a local home growth project to prepare a cohort of our youth to find their place in the global value chain. Implementation depends heavily on the level of available resources, but we are committed to mobilizing resources both at home and abroad to make this activity a success. In fact, failure is not an option, since the future viability of the local economy depends on us developing an innovative, productive, and competitive private sector.
Lewis went on to highlight how the club participants can stand a chance to have their business idea become a reality.
So provided in the context of the program would be coaching, mentorship, and technical support in a business incubation system format. A series of evaluations will be administered to facilitate the selection of the very best performers. And those are the ones who will be offered the opportunity to actually start a business. It doesn't mean that others can't start, but because we have limited resources, then we have to focus on who comes out through the system at the top.
Noting that with limited employment opportunities present within the government service, many young individuals would have to engender a spirit of entrepreneurship. Featured speaker at Friday's event, Dr. Julian Jules Ferdinand, commended the participants for seeing the need to become members of the club.
You are thinking about things, about solutions, about improvements that you need to bring to the fore. And we, the older ones, those of us who like to say that we are in our post-youth, need sometimes to give you the guidance, and to prepare the platform for you to excel. Many of you will. So this club is timely. This club will play a major role in national development. We're going beyond the community college. It's a national development agenda.
Cognizant of the fact that each and every young individual has a role to play in the development of SVG, young entrepreneurs here are being urged to go out and be a part of the initiative. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.